Okay. Okay. Should be good. Okay, there we are, JR. Here we go, folks. Let's go. Yep. Can we talk about it? Excuse me. Are we allowed to talk about things in the news? Would that be okay? Yes, maybe. We allowed to talk about things that happen? I think so. I'm trying to think. What's the alternative to people that don't like what they're seeing in the news? They don't have to watch it. Unreal. Yes. Thank you, Dana. All right, folks, we're live in 2 minutes. 2 minutes with the latest. And then for the subscriber, well, for everyone, actually, we have some good video for later. Those that don't want to watch it don't have to watch it. I don't know what else to tell you. But we definitely have some good video for later. Separate case, unrelated. But from what I've seen so far, very, very strong. Yep. Okay, and we are live, as I said, in just 2 minutes. 2 minutes. And we are going to talk about the news of the day. And many times, the news of the day, I'm not sure. Hold on. I don't see the dot. I don't know what that means. Let's see. Let me try this. What about that? That should be good. So, all right, I'll play along. I think the audio should be okay. Let me double check it. We want to make sure that it is okay. I think it is. We're going to find out momentarily. Nope, that's not it. Let's see. Okay, there's that. There I am. And there I am. Okay. Audio sounds good to me. There I am. What do you think, JR? Audio good for everybody? I think it is. There I am. Yep. Audio good? Sounds good to me. We're going to start momentarily. As soon as I get the okay. But I think we're good to go on this Thursday. Hopefully the weather's going to break a little bit and we will start to warm up just a little bit. Now we just wait for JR to give us the go-ahead. And I'm not sure exactly what's happening. Okay. What seems to be, is there a problem? Is there possibly a problem? I don't know. We're waiting. I don't see the dot. I don't know what that means. All All right, folks, we're going to start in just a moment. I'm not sure why. What exactly? Why are we not hearing from our friend so we can carry the radio transmission? I've sent several links now, and we are waiting to go. We haven't had a problem like this in the past. Here we go. Not sure exactly what seems to be the problem. Hello. Why am I not hearing anything? There I am. I can only send the link. Not exactly sure why we're not. Everybody stand by as we're waiting for, I'm not exactly sure. And live, there we go. All right, folks, at 108. Thank you, JR. It's Thursday. It is. Yes, there we go. We were standing by. Great. We are ready to roll and begin our broadcast on this Thursday, January 9th. Yes, that was me on Court TV earlier this morning. We're going to be back tomorrow. And JR says it's clean. Folks, we are live right now as we speak on Facebook, X, and YouTube. We are also live AM 1380, 99.9 FM. And you can always listen online at the website, which is dpetro.com. This portion of the program. Now, a lot of people don't like to read. A lot of people just want to hear various things. They like to be told. That's why if you log on at the website, dpetro.com, we do have, as a matter of fact, we have a lot of video. So it's really designed almost for people that don't read in some ways. So for the non-reading crowd, and I'm not judgmental here, but you can read and listen and watch the video of everything to do with West Greenwich. We have the West Greenwich incident. We will put out more information than anyone else. All you have to do is log on at dpetro.com. Brought to you by the Coesit Inn, 226 Coesit Avenue, West Warwick. Lunch, dinner, drinks in the lounge, as long as you don't mind dining with Anthony Santos. And they have the market at Coesit. It's the Coesit Inn. All right. Now, folks, couple things. I think sometimes there's nothing wrong with clarifying, right? Clarifying. But I want many of you to know where I stand on things. I have to admit, see, what is different about this? What's different about this type of platform on the different platforms is it can be interactive. That's a bonus. Sometimes it's a burden. Sometimes it's a burden. But I want to stress to people that if you don't like, you're watching television and you're flipping the channels. If you don't like what you're watching, you just flip the channel. I must admit, I don't understand people that are uncomfortable with content that we're putting out when they don't have to view it. They don't have to watch it. They don't have to be on the page. I must admit, I don't know what's flaring out. I don't know why they're on the page, but I want to touch on this whole situation in West Greenwich, even though some people are saying, move on. Don't talk about it anymore. Folks, what you have to realize, and I want you to realize this, is I feel very confident in my ability to identify what's news. And I would argue the success that I've enjoyed, national television this morning, national television tomorrow morning. A big part of that and why our platforms take off is the ability to identify when something is newsworthy. Kind of begins and ends there. But I want many of you to know, if I were to listen to the general public, these people that are just out there, that in their world, some people, you don't cover anything. I don't mention it because I just It's dismissed. There are people that don't like that I ride around and film crime scenes. Nope, shouldn't be doing that. What, based on what authority? The police welcome that we're there. People like watching it, but no, shouldn't be doing it because what? They don't want to watch it. So, but what you need to understand is one of the reasons. It's not that I'm insensitive, but after a while, it doesn't mean anything. The media, they were showing the victims of what happened in New Orleans. Now there are people that they shouldn't be showing that. But you got to understand, there are always people saying that. They don't want to see anything. They don't think they should have showed, the planes on 9/11 going into the tower. They don't think they should have showed any of the victims there. Once you realize there are people, they hide from the world. But I want to talk about this particular situation because obviously, and I recognize if you're on the radio listening or you're on probably X or YouTube, you may not get it. But I want it, I could just ignore it, but I'm not going to ignore it. It seems primarily for whatever reason. I kind of know it. It's the Facebook crowd and all these people unfollow. No, take this guy, he just wants Jason Tatum hits a key 3-pointer for the Celtics. You could always say, do you know how much he makes? Right? Patrick Mahomes runs into the end zone for a touchdown. You can always say, well, based on how much they pay him, he should be doing. You can always come back to that. President Trump, as I've said, gives a good speech. Well, he just wants to get votes. The LA Times is doing remarkable coverage on the fires out there. Well, they just want to sell news. My point is, they just want to sell newspapers. You can always come back to that. But then you have to step back and say, well, wait a minute. Jason Tatum hit that shot. There's a lot of good players, but he's one of the better players. And there are a lot of good football players, but Patrick Mahomes is a certain type of player. There's a lot of news outlets, newspapers, but the LA Times coverage stands out. But this particular case, I actually wasn't going to say anything, but the actions of people, and I get that apparently now Coventry, when I was in Coventry recently for the FBI was searching, there were not a lot, but there were 1 or 2 max people going by and, table for one salute. Gee, I wonder who that is. Well, you have that hag bag that drove up onto the lawn when there was the murder-suicide who was announcing everybody off the street, everybody leave. And the police said to her, what are you talking about? And then she tried to drive. So I get that. And that video did over 1 million views. I get that. Like it's that person and then their clan. But let's just be really clear and talk about, and by the way, if you don't want to hear about West Greenwich, which I still think it's on people's minds. Of course, and there's nothing wrong with that. These people move on. How about this? Yesterday and different times, I notice you're not showing who did it. So we post a picture of the father. Well, I notice you're not showing who the victims were. So we post a victim of the children. Don't show any of it. It's a little bit of the Three Bears that you can't kind of get it right. And I understand why they don't want to talk about it. And I understand about why they don't like the picture. But here's something that I wasn't necessarily going to get into, but I will now. Friday night and then into Saturday, friends and family connected to this Nick Arruda were contacting me through various people trying to plant the seed that Danielle was the responsible. She's the one that took out the firearm and did that. That is nuts to me. I didn't believe it then, clearly. I didn't go with it, but I didn't forget that. And now it's Thursday. Who would do that? Why would you do that? And all of these people, let the family grieve. Where was the family? Let the family grieve. What, let his family grieve? I was told she really doesn't have much of a family. I was told that she has a mother and then they became estranged over the relationship with him. So his family that are out in force, his family, everybody stop talking about it. His family, donate to us for the GoFundMe. I'm not donating to their GoFundMe. I don't care if Nick Arruda is buried or not. And this business of let the family grieve, he took out his family. He eliminated his family. Who are you talking about? I get why they don't want it. Yeah, his family and friends don't like the photo of him lying there with the Nazi tattoo and the piercings. So as far as this whole business, where was the family when the children needed them? All these people, let the family grieve. Well, where was his family? And where was her family? I feel horrible for poor Danielle, those two children. And there was someone messaged me, well, it depends on the state, because if the child was only 7 months, technically that's not a person. That's what enters someone's mind. I posted the registry for the child to demonstrate just how far along she was, to demonstrate that anyone that's ever had a child, what an exciting Christmas this must have been, where the children are excited that they're going to meet their new brother or sister, whoever's coming. It couldn't be ignored, and it was put there. And I put that to show this wasn't like she was a month or 2 months or no one knew. They already had a gift registry. This should have been a joyous time. That's too much. You're drawing attention to the fact that she was going to have a child. Yes. As a matter of fact, I am drawing attention that she was due to have a child, and she should have had that child. So as far as his family, the Arrudas and their enclave of trash friends. Listen, this kid was a problem for a very long time, and he wasn't a kid for a very long time. And they knew it, and they didn't do anything to stop it or intervene. And the unborn child and the two children, they had no choice. They're along for the ride. Everything I've heard about Danielle from her friends, he slowly cut off her circle of friends. His family, his friends, all these people. If you're listening and all these people, I'm not listening. Let who grieve? We're supposed to let his family grieve. Yeah. He's 39. He lays around all day. He doesn't work. He didn't hurt his back. He doesn't work. He plays video games. He bones up with weed and then puts little tattoos on himself. Yeah. You don't think that's a problem? No one thought, all these family, now they're so concerned. Where were you when Danielle and those children needed you? What we're hearing is guilt. Now, what I believe is this family. Why is the family on my pages anyway? These people are insane. A lot of times mental illness does run through. First, they tried to point the finger at her. His family and friends were trying to say she's the one. She shot him in the kid. That's how demented they are. Did I repeat that? No. And there's one of our core listeners that will defend me on it, because he was hearing the same thing. They were trying to put that out there. That's sick. No, they don't want a photo of him lying there with the Nazi tattoo as he's boning up and playing video games. and with weapons in the house. So his family and friends, they didn't think that maybe that's a little odd, that maybe he had like really lost his mind. This guy was a problem in high school. He was a problem post high school. He's always been a problem. I give his brother credit. His brother talked to the Boston Globe, and his brother said, we had to cut him off. I had to cut him off for the safety of my own family. Well, you know, that's terrific. But apparently, Danielle felt trapped, and those two children didn't have that option. So, okay. So he's cut off for the safety, he said, the safety of my own family. So he's just home all day with those two kids. And all these family and friends that were supposed to be grieving for, let the family go. Where were they? Where were they when Nick the Nazi is lying around, not working, smoking weed, playing video games, and putting white supremacist tattoos on himself? Where were all these family and friends? According to, again, I'll give credit to the reporting. He didn't have any friends. So like these people, what are you doing? His family, hear me out. His family, they should be talking. I don't know. What are you grieving? You don't have the right to grieve. You did nothing. You did nothing. Apologize. Sorry about that. You did nothing. Let the families grieve. You don't even know if they have families. And where were the families? This guy sounds like he was an accident. It was just building and going nowhere. And again, I have this stuff on the website so you can read it. I put it there so people can read it at their leisure. So I don't have to just keep repeating it. And I say that knowing that so many people, no matter how many times you post, read it here. Here's the information you're looking for. People just don't read. And then people wonder why I post things 2 and 3 times because they don't read. Like that guy, the Monticello street homicide. Is that the victim or the suspect? Yeah, the police are looking for the victim of the homicide who is wearing a mask. But those people, no. I read that his family and her family, I recognize for many people, apparently, this is uncomfortable. I believe they should be talking. And I'll tell you what they should be talking about. The red flags they missed. The gut instinct they had that something was off. And now is the time to talk about it. While it's real and in the news, some of these hagbags on the page, move on. Stop talking about that story. They should be re-examining. Don't tell me there were no clues. Look at him. Why do you think I post the picture? Why are you posting this picture? Look at him. Oh, yeah, he's normal. Yeah, almost 40 years old with the white Nazi tattoos, laying around, smoking pot, playing video games, won't leave the house, no friends. You know, this wasn't a hardworking guy. It was like a coach in the community and everything's going great. And out of nowhere, that wasn't, this wasn't that. That's not what this is. So I believe all these people, oh, the families, the family should be figuring out what clues that they saw and did nothing about, in only hopes that it could be prevented in the future. I think that would be, and certainly not with me, but that would be constructive because there were clues. There were a lot of clues. The more you hear about this guy, their situation, I feel horrible for little Danielle. I feel worse for the unborn child, the 2-year-old, the 5-year-old. They were trapped. They were trapped. I don't know all the, and her friends have told me she was very private. The whole thing, listen, make no mistake, it's very sad. But this business of like, shut it down. I come back to, I do believe that that is people's, when people are wildly uncomfortable. And so their mechanism is nobody talk about it. But what you have to understand, from where I come from, there's always a crowd out there. They say that about everything. They say don't talk about anything like that. There are people that it's an odd condition, because what's interesting is they could flip by. They could scroll by. I didn't, as I've said, I didn't watch MSNBC during this past election. I didn't have any interest in whatever they were peddling. I didn't watch it nonstop and just keep commenting about it. But I think that's, and there's obviously a group, and they're all out there. And it's this shutting down. This, of course, it's a horrible, sad situation. Of course it is. But you can't have these lives lost in vain. Now, who do I feel for Danielle, her unborn child, those 2 children, and anyone that somehow managed to maintain a relationship with her. But I feel bad for his family. Oh, come on, they're grieving too. Didn't they see that this guy was a problem? You know, all these people complaining because I posted the photo of the father, Nick Arruda. The photo tells you a lot. Look at him. He's totally creepy. You believe that when you look at that photo, you're like, all right, well, that's who could do it. So, but it is, I am taken aback at the people. No discussion. I mean, think about it. The press conference was yesterday. This woman sent me a message. The story is over. Move on. You should no longer mention it. What are you talking about? How come we can't talk about it or post about it, and maybe you just don't watch it? Isn't that an option? No. No one should be. Who are these bosses? I also want to address this whole business of freedom of speech. Yeah, you do have freedom of, and I know it seems a little bit Facebook centric, but you do have freedom of speech on your page. Doesn't mean I have to let you in your uneducated, inane, moronic opinions on my page. Who wants to read it? Most of the time, people can't keep the story straight. Doesn't stop them from having an opinion. You know, later this afternoon, where do you see the body cam video of that Providence firefighter who was annihilated? The Johnston police gave that guy every opportunity to do the right thing. But immediately these people go, you know, the cops instigated it and blah, blah, blah. It's like nonstop. All right, folks, this portion of our program, it's brought to you by Watson Materials, largest selection of landscape materials in Rhode Island. It's Watson Materials, 1500 South County Trail, East Greenwich. Call them at 401-885-0600. 885-0600. Watson Materials for your outside, whether it's your home or business, landscape lighting, pavers, retaining walls, natural stone, cobblestone, decorative stone. Watson Materials. Call them today. Request a quote. 401-885-0600. Well, folks, good afternoon at 1:31. I as I have talked about, as long as there's information and there is new information and we've received new information, we'll continue to put it out there. No one is required to read it. No one is required to watch it. And no one is required to like just scroll by. But it has to be, there's family and friends connected to the father. There's family and friends connected to Nick Arruda that want to just shut the whole thing down. There was a woman posting last night, and then someone tips me off, by the way, that's one of his aunts. I don't, who would do something like that? To me, someone who's, clearly not from a family that's all there. So you don't expect them, they don't behave normal in normal circumstances, let alone in these circumstances. And there are parallels. We saw it with the Charlotte Lester case. The brother, one of the brothers, took his own life the day that Mark Perkins was arrested because he realized that he had almost been like a co-conspirator. So as whacked as they were, then he, took his own life. But this is something that I believe, and all these people that point to, well, mental illness is a problem. Mental illness is a problem. It could be anybody. I'll tell you what. You know what doesn't help mental illness? Lying around all day, playing video games, and smoking weed. That's not good for mental illness. That father had an obligation to provide for those children with another one on the way. That Nick Arruda, why did he have, what did he need weapons for? No job, laying around all day. She had to work, and he's laying around with his weapons. Absolute zero. Let the family grieve. Where was the family at the moment of truth? Where was the family? Don't tell me they didn't have, they knew that kid, that guy, because he is a man, he was a problem for a really long time. And tragically, I don't know, she ended up with him. It is tragic. It's horribly tragic. And then that's my understanding. When she hinted that maybe that since she was going to be home with the new baby, maybe in the new year, since the baby was coming in February, he could venture out of the house, maybe provide some income. And look how that Nazi maniac reacted. And they're so angry that I found the photo of him with the Nazi tattoo. Tells you a lot. Now, some of the people, it's interesting, a lot of the people that are striking out about that and angry about that, they kind of look the part. A lot of them kind of look the part. So maybe he was part of like some white supremacist group. So they're all angry. Like there are some wackos I've never heard of before. Take that down. Take that down. You're violating our brother. You're to even refer to him as anything less than human is unimaginable to me. What an absolute disgrace. And that family, can you imagine? And she's trying to go along. Like maybe he'll get normal. Maybe I'll move out on him. Maybe he'll move out. Maybe he should move out. Maybe we should get divorced. I want to live a normal life. You're 39 years old, laying around, watching video games all day, smoking pot, and he had a tattoo gun. He'd do his own tattoos. I feel terrible for Danielle and those children and the unborn. That somehow she had found herself in the same home of a complete zero. And if that troubles his family and friends, so be it. Because that's what he is. That's what he was. Worthless. This mental health thing was the person trying to help themselves. So ridiculous. But I believe, listen, they knew the situation. This just didn't happen all of a sudden. No, this had been going on for a long time. And tragically, she got involved with the guy. It's true. It's too bad. It's a shame they ever met, because she seemed to be a wonderful, everyone said she was the kindest person. She was a great mother. And this maniac with his control. What? You want me to work? Leave the house? What about my, complete zero. And so you people out there defending him, trying to point the finger at her, that's the sick, is like a sick group in Coventry, which is actually very close to West Greenwich. Maybe they socialized with him, although I heard he never left the house and didn't have any friends. I'll come out and say it. You should be ashamed of yourselves. I believe that family, they owe it to the community to talk about the red flags that were missed, to talk about if they could do things over, what they would have done. But you can already see, look at the attitude. Oh, none of our business. He seems really off. He's got the weapons. He's just laying around, playing video games, smoking pot. She has to work all the time. It's none of our business. Let's stay out of it. That 2-year-old, that 5-year-old, and the unborn child, they needed someone to intervene in that situation. They did. And I'm at a loss. The people defending him. These people, why don't you promote the go? What? No, I'm not helping those. Where were those families? Where were they? Don't tell me they didn't. They knew he was nuts. They knew he was dangerous. They knew there was a problem there, and no one got involved. So figure it out. Sell her a car. Now they're going to have to sell the house unless one of the family members move in. Ridiculous. These people around us, the reaction, it's got to be out of guilt. It has to be. I believe the family knew. They knew he was a ticking time bomb, and they did nothing. That family is grieving the loss of those grandkids. Where were they for them? Where were they this whole time? As all of this thing was like getting worse and spiraling out. Folks, this portion of the program, let's talk about something happy for children. Let's talk about Kids Club on the Pike, birthday parties, before and after school programs, preschool programs. Kids Club on the Pike. It is fantastic. It's where children are safe. Children can be children for a variety of different things and services that they offer, such as maybe you're a parent, grandparent, you're looking for someplace that has before and after school programs or a preschool program, or maybe you're looking to rent someplace for a birthday party. If you have a youth party somewhere else, you don't have to worry about the kids coming into your house, running outside, breaking things, whatever it may be. Kids Club on the Pike. They're right on Plainfield Pike, right on the Cranston-Johnston line. It's Kids Club on the Pike. Look for them on Facebook. You can call them 401-443-5336 for Kids Club on the Pike. Now, folks, as this cold weather continues, remember to stop in and see our friend Marie at It's My Health, 1099 Mendon Road in Cumberland. It's My Health. There are so many people I see posting that they're sick. Oh, I've never been so sick. I've been sick for 7 days. Listen, you need nutrients to restore your body. You need nutrients to get it back on track. Kids Club on the Pike. Excuse me. It's My Health. 1099 Mendon Road in Cumberland. Stop in and see Marie. We'll talk to her tomorrow. Diagonally across from Davenport Restaurant. Some nice hot tea would be terrific. Excuse me, on a cold, it's cold, Thursday afternoon like this. It's My Health, 1099 Mendon Road in Cumberland. Well, folks, good afternoon. Now, again, We have provided a lot of information, and I'll say this: I know that um, the anger. I know that people were angry that we had the story. We had the story on Friday night. We had the story on Friday night. We knew who it was that met their demise in that manner. We had the photo of him, and people they're angry about that. I know that sounds crazy because it is. It's almost as if they wanted us to be wrong. I wouldn't have posted that. I wouldn't have posted her name. I wouldn't have posted his name. I wouldn't have posted the story if it was going to be wrong. Everyone I was speaking to, I was saying it has to be 100%. Has to be 100%. We can't be. And there were people, as I said, floating out. I won't even get into it. There were other people saying it could have been this person, maybe it was this person, and all this other stuff. What you saw also, I do want to take a moment and commend the first responders, the West Greenwich Police. That was a very difficult scene to walk into. I want to be very clear. Stories, it's not your imagination. Stories just go right out of the news. Look how New Orleans was a huge story until the fires hit on the West Coast. And now that's a big story. And the whole situation with Luigi in New York was a big story until then suddenly New Orleans. The news cycle, it moves very quickly. We don't know what's going to happen today or tonight or tomorrow. And then boom, that suddenly takes over. But something, there needs to be, I still think there has to be more of a message about red flags to look for, because there are red flags. There are. And there's red flags with various people that commit a very violent act that then land themselves in the news. Sometimes it's very high profile, like 9/11. I talk about that. Now, granted, there were people, shouldn't show the hijackers. Don't show them. Nope. I don't get that. Thank God no one listens to that, by the way. As a result of that, we took certain precautions. Right now in Congress, they're trying to pass the Laken Riley Act. The young woman, Athens, Georgia, she went out for a run and not only was sexually assaulted, but killed by an illegal. And it's a wildly uncomfortable story. But if you don't talk about it, then no changes are made in relation to it. It's much like the woman that was who was set on fire in the subway car in New York. The guy that did it, his picture was in the paper and in the news. And as I think of it, there are probably people saying, don't show it. But every time something like this happens, it's an opportunity for awareness. Because right now, today, there could be, and I believe it's predominantly female, that could be in a very uncomfortable situation. And how certain people react. Not everyone's excited about a pregnancy. Carbuncle Pond, we covered that story. The trial's going on right now. That loser, Gary, whatever his name is, Gravinsky or something like that. He's dating that girl in Brockton. He met her at the factory. Got her pregnant. He was going to get back with his old girlfriend. And in his murderous, demented mind, he came up with, oh, okay, well, then she has to go. Like Scott Peterson. So what'd they do? They picked her up. I mean, it's atrocious what happened. They went to Buttonwoods and they ended up putting her in Carbuncle Pond in Coventry. Again, female, defenseless, pregnant. I'm not saying there's much to be learned from that other than look at now when I'm out on road patrol and we'll see cars that have a sign in it that say Uber. That's from women mistakenly getting into a vehicle thinking it was their Uber car. And it was the girl that he pretended he was an Uber driver, and he killed her in Boston, and then he put her in the suitcase right in the jewelry district in Providence. So I want to just say this. I know nothing is solved if nothing is then talked about. And I think it can be done. These are adult conversations. And the family doesn't need to be on pages. No, they should be making notes to themselves. They would serve a great purpose. You can turn that grief into something positive. I think the Dennison family from West Warwick is a good example of that. What happened to their son is horrible. Matthew Dennison. He was an innocent high school senior, killed by that Newport firefighter in a drunk driving. He ran him over, basically. And you can just still hear the pain and anguish. And as I think of it, there were people then saying, don't talk about that story. Don't have respect for the family. Well, not only do they talk about it, they testify about it. And they want everyone to know. And they want to serve as a reminder. So I want to remind people that you're free to go into your shell. People can totally, I'm going to unplug. I mean, every day I'm going through different stories, and some I just either don't have time or I don't have any interest, or maybe I don't even want to read that. But it never occurs to me to stop to say, that no one should be looking at, not like that. Folks, this portion of our program is brought to you by Arch Design Builders, specializing in residential design. Arch Design Builders. Great workmanship. Roxanne and Eddie, wonderful team. You can call them Arch Design Builders. I'll share their Facebook page. Otherwise, they have a beautiful website, archdesignbuildersri.com. You can call them at 401-207-4124. Now, it's a new year, 2025. Maybe it's time you're thinking new kitchen. Maybe you're thinking a new bathroom. Maybe you're thinking you have an unfinished basement or a deck or a special project. Now is the time. Invest in your home or business. Why not call Arch Design Builders and share with them what you'd like to have done, and let them share with you what they could do. 401-207-4124. You're going to love dealing with Arch Design Builders. Well, folks, good afternoon. Again, this is the real news, and it is the real news. I think the whole thing with the baby registry, someone sent that to me. I didn't find that online. Someone sent that to me, and of course, it's horrible to see that. It is horrible to see that. Of course, it is. Danielle Arruda, Nicholas Arruda, baby registries. Due date, February 26th. Click on the logo below to purchase the perfect baby gift. This was happening. He prevented it. I mean, as much as it's real, that's really real. Same thing with the swing set in the back. I mean, that caught my attention. You look at some different houses and yards. Which house has the family and young kids? You don't have a swing set if your kids are older. Which house has the children? That one. How do you know? The swing set in the back. I mean, there's certain images. That's one of them. There was an unborn here. And, the people that she worked with were very concerned. She was 7 months pregnant, and she never missed work. She sounded like a very diligent individual. I feel terrible for Danielle. I don't want to call her by that name. she ended up tragically having children with a complete, utter zero. And don't tell me, well, mental health is a problem. I want to, again, did anyone ever try to talk? I don't know. I'm not even going to get down the road, but this had been going on for a while. And as Lacey Peterson's mother said, divorce was an option, right? Lacey Peterson was pregnant. What did Scott Peterson say? I want to be with Amber Fry. Lacey Peterson's mother said, divorce was an option. Fine. You don't want to be married to her with your child? Then divorce her. But as Lacey Peterson's mother said, divorce was an option, not murder. Not murder. Sanity. Him laying there with the Nazi tattoo. Ooh, I need some more weed. What a complete zero. A controlling, maniacal zero. And if you were friends with him, or you're friends with that family, don't tell me there weren't red flags. You look at that photo, that guy's a walking red flag. Crazy. Folks, I want to welcome to the program Modern Mechanical. Modern Mechanical, 20 years of industry experience, professional heating, air conditioning, commercial refrigeration. Modern Mechanical. They're another one. I will share their Facebook page. Residential HVAC services, commercial, central air conditioning installation, central air repair and maintenance. Hey, this is the time of year you need someone. If you're having a heating problem, get it straightened out now. Because what if we get the temperature like really below zero? Because they can do it all. Furnace installation, furnace repair and maintenance, boiler repair and maintenance, heater repair and maintenance. Modern Mechanical. They're right on Jefferson Boulevard in Warwick. 401 441 5442. Modern Mechanical. Richard and his staff, now is the time. As a matter of fact, if you're having a heating problem, call them. You need someone to come out. Listen, it's been cold. It could go even below zero cold. Call them today. Don't say, oh, it's acting up a little bit. 401 441 5442. You're going to hear me talk a lot about them. You need, in situations when it comes to heating, especially this time of year, you need someone dependable. Someone will jump into action. Modern Mechanical, 401 441 5442. Whether it's boiler repair and maintenance or furnace repair and maintenance or heater repair and maintenance. Modern Mechanical, 401 441 5442. Richard is very knowledgeable. Well, folks, as many of you know, hey, listen, I like to have humor with the program. I do. It's a strong point. It's what stands out. I also, let me just mention this business of people can have opinions. Listen, one of the downsides of social media is sometimes people can't express their opinion without being insulting to others. Learn to make your argument or just share your opinion without insulting others. And on this, like so many people, they're so judgmental. They're so, oh, I'm tired of this story. Like, move on. Like, just stop being so self-absorbed. The content is the content. We're not persuaded against it. This cold weather makes Road Patrol Live a little difficult, although I do envision we'll be out tonight. Then tomorrow, finally, it's going to get up, I think, into the low 40s, which almost seems like balmy at this point. But various individuals, that's not what it is. I have no interest we're on the verge of hitting 80,000 followers just on Facebook alone. We're right on the crux of 100,000 followers on TikTok. What you have freedom of speech on your own page. Why would we keep people on that are then so insulting? It's who would? As I say, would you invite someone into your home and they spit on the floor and say, "This place looks like a rat"? Who would have that? I would not. Who would entertain someone like that? Would you have someone like that? No. So there's a lot of uneducated, ill-informed individuals out there. And congratulations, they have opinions. Great. Isn't that amazing? Post them on your own divide. Yes. Folks, this portion of the program is brought to you by Propane Plus. Remember, for all your propane needs, call them today, 401-885-4209. Now in Massachusetts, 508-252-3359. Propane Plus, heating and cooling. Log on, residential or commercial. Type in your zip code. You can depend on Propane Plus. Call them today, 401-885-4209, or in Massachusetts, 508-252-3359 for Propane Plus. So just as a programming note, I think we are going to be doing Road Patrol Live later, even though it's freezing out, but we'll probably do it. And also, let me say this, and we're going to do it subscriber only. I did a subscriber chat. I open it up to everyone when we have a huge scene. But other than that, my patience with general public is very narrow. We don't have time for it. So, but if you'd like to subscribe, there's no wait list. Try a different device, but we'd love to have you. So we'll do that later. Now, if something happens, we'll be out before then. So listen, thank you everybody for tuning in. Pray for those little individuals, those little souls. If you're listening to the radio, stay tuned for the 2 o'clock news. Everyone else, we'll be back later for Road Patrol Live.